it that way.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're on.
Short and sweet, okay. So, I don't know about you guys, but I have a lot of trouble sleeping. And so I was researching this myself, and I'm going to my doctor next week, so I'm gonna be chatting it over with him some more. I wanted to get some more information and see what all was out there that I didn't know or haven't tried. Because they say that up to 3/4 of people with Parkinson's disease have problems with sleeping, and there can be a whole bunch of different problems, and some people have some of them, or more, some people have other ones, but, so, these are just kind of a compilation of several different websites, articles that I found that I thought looked fairly helpful, that had some things in there that I just wanted to see what everybody else does, and kind of maybe talk about some of these, and see what everybody has to say.
Well, I've been on a CPAP for 15 years.
So that's one of the things, is sleep apnea is more common in people with
Obstructive
Parkinson's.
sleep
Yeah,
apnea.
obstructive sleep apnea, yeah, is more common in people with Parkinson's. So sometimes they say that you should have a sleep study to see if you're in that group that has that as being an issue. Because obstructive sleep apnea can make you wake up a whole bunch of times, but also leaves you feeling really
It
tired
creates
the
a
next
severe
day.
pain in the middle of your back
Yeah.
from your wife. It didn't sound you to quit snoring.
So insomnia, like either trouble falling asleep or waking up a whole bunch of times, seems to be one of the really prevalent issues, just from my own research and the multiple online chat rooms that I am in, where people go, "Who's up?" and it's 2 a.m. and like 50 people say, me, so I am one of them. I usually can fall asleep, but I do take melatonin and also Unisom, but then I can fall asleep, but I never sleep, even with those before bedtime, I'll never sleep more than about 2 hours without waking up. And so I'll wake up, and then I'll be up for anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour or two before I can go back to sleep again. And I'll just do that like over and over all night, which is problematic when you have to go to work the next day.
Didn't you say a month or two ago that you woke up around 4 o'clock every morning?
Sometimes, yeah, for a while I was like every morning I would just be up, like,
Up and on.
I still do that every morning.
Yeah.
Either 10 till or 10 after, about 4 o'clock every morning.
yeah. So, I work full-time still, and it's not good when you haven't gotten very much sleep for, most nights. And so I've been trying to figure out things to be done about that, but I haven't really found any miracle solutions. I just wanted to hear what other people do. But I had talked to my doctor about it a long time ago, and like in here, there's some, tips that they say, about trying to keep a regular schedule, going to bed and waking up at the same time.
Yeah, right.
Taking your medication, if you're gonna take sleep medicines, timing that right, but also your last dose of whatever medicine you may take for your Parkinson's may help, because a lot of people wake up in the middle of the night due to Parkinson's related symptoms like dystonia, stiffness, they can't roll over in the bed, things like that. So I have to time out my Cinemet. I take a long, and that's one of the things it talks about in these too, taking a long-acting Cinemet at the end of the day, which I do, so that it lasts longer throughout the night. So that helps some, but still, I sleep terrible. They talk about exercising earlier in the day, but I'm at work earlier in the day. I don't want to not exercise, because you're supposed to exercise when you have Parkinson's disease and all that. So I always exercise at night.
I find
but
exercising at night doesn't bother me.
I don't know if it bothers me or not, because I can't really change it, because I cannot
It
exercise.
actually relaxes me somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
And so I'm hoping that, it's not causing me any trouble. But they say that it's not good to exercise close to bedtime, but if you're at work all day, then I don't know when else you're supposed to do it. So, it's kind of hard to, some of these things are like all great if you can do these things, but it's
if I
kind
can
of
sleep
hard.
like laying on a bicycle, I go to sleep that way.
Yeah. So, so that's one of the issues with sleeping. And then another one that a lot of Parkinson's people talk about is being sleepy during the daytime. Like all of a sudden, they just get like really, really sleepy. And you can have sleep attacks from medications associated with Parkinson's, where you just like are all of a sudden are asleep. But that's a little bit different than like the excessive daytime sleepiness, they call it, where for whatever reason, whether it's because you sleep terrible at night, but they've even said that even just the disease process itself can cause excessive daytime sleepiness. I definitely have that. Usually, my worst time is kind of like early afternoon. And a lot of people that don't work can just take a nap, and so that helps, they say to take a short nap, like an hour long, but not more than that, because that can disrupt your sleep later on. But again, it's almost impossible to squeeze in an hour nap on a
I've had
regular
coworkers
workday.
that take a 5 or 10 minute power nap after lunch.
Yeah.
Just close their door and take a nap and.
Well, I've thought about it because I've thought about even trying to schedule time in the middle of the workday to lay down for an hour, but I mean, I'm an OBGYN doctor, so it doesn't really, people never stop calling me, the babies don't stop coming. So even if I scheduled a time block to potentially have a downtime, most of the time it's interrupted, by something. So, but Dr. Kloss told me that he has a patient who's a dentist who has this, and so he has like a 2-hour block in the middle of the day where he doesn't schedule patients so that he can eat lunch and take a nap for a while, and then he works in the morning and then later in the day to make up for it, So I think if you had certain careers where you could potentially do that, then that would be, helpful for the excessive daytime sleepiness issue. What about restless legs? Does everybody have restless legs? This is supposed to be something else that's common in people with Parkinson's, and I definitely know that I had that before I was diagnosed. I don't know if it had anything to do with it or not, but.
As I understand, restless leg is the actual movement of your legs when you're in bed or whatever.
Yes.
We had a fellow that was a firefighter that was here about 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah.
He just sat there
Yeah.
constantly.
He was dyskinetic big time.
Yeah.
I have more like Charlie horses all during the night.
See, that's what I get to, like that dystonia where like my foot will like
Lock
curl
up.
down, like your foot like curls into that position that I practically have to bend over and
So the covers
like
fly off,
physically
and you
undo
jump out
it.
of bed and you push your leg down, try to break your ankle or it'll flex
Yes,
4 or 5 times. That's my exercise.
that's not good either. They also say people with Parkinson's have a higher problem with like a REM sleep disorder where like during REM sleep they're dreaming and they're acting out their dreams and like thrashing around in the bed and
Hitting
like
people.
hitting people and doing all kinds of things. Anybody got that? Nobody
I
here
wouldn't
has
know.
that? I don't think I have that either. I don't know.
I hear about that a lot
I do.
with
But-
Requip and Mirapex.
Side effects,
Yeah.
but even people that aren't on meds do that too. Apparently,
Yeah.
that's something that I've
Is it
been with.
something some people have before they are diagnosed?
I think so. Yeah, it's like something that they have said that they have, before they were diagnosed.
And
too.
my
Yeah.
sleep apnea was diagnosed 12 years before Parkinson's was diagnosed.
Yeah.
So most of it was just, you wake up in the morning, your eyes are bloodshot. You actually feel worse when you wake up than when you go to bed. It just kept going on and on until I just felt miserable. So that's where I took the sleep study. And the technician giving me the sleep study had to come in and wake me up because my count dropped down to 67,
Your oxygen.
which is just 5 from death. So they woke me up and put me on a sleep machine immediately that morning during the test. And hadn't had a problem since.
Yeah, that's good. Is it hard to sleep with it on? Like, do you feel like
It was at
like
first.
it bugs you? You have to get used
I
to
had to
it.
have a second sleep study to calibrate how much, I guess they measure it by zones, the air pressure.
Okay.
And typically, most people have their zone set at 7 or 9. Mine had to be 15. So then it caused a dry mouth syndrome. So I had to have a warm water humidifier attached to it to have the warm air through my lungs.
We have a friend who just got a new one, and it's just,
Nasal pills.
yeah,
That's what I sleep with.
yeah, so it's not the
Not
mask
the, like the
anymore.
mask that's on, yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a lot less.
Well, I had a beard when I first was diagnosed,
Yeah.
so it
Yeah.
wouldn't seal tight. So I went to nasal pillows, and it's a little attachment that comes
Goes
over
over
the
the
top
top,
of your
yeah.
head. And attaches to your
Yeah.
nostrils.
Does anybody take any prescription medicines for sleep? Yes? I I intend to be asking my doctor about this
I've
next
got
week, so.
Clonazepam or something like that.
Yeah, so they say that like diazepam or clonazepam, you know.
I don't
like-
take it, I have it, I don't take it very often, but I take it in case.
So I've never been
I'm really
prescribed
keyed up.
anything like that, but I'm not really sure why he hasn't, because I've talked to him about my sleep issues before, and he hasn't really ever prescribed it, but I just couldn't, I would be afraid to take them on nights if I would potentially have to obviously get up and drive to deliver a baby or something, or with my kids. I mean, I have 2 6-year-olds, you know, so, but if it was like a weekend or something, you know, I might be inclined to, so.
I try not to take it, but occasionally I just get so keyed up. And I have something going the next day, I don't have to get some sleep for it, just take it. Or I try to take a half one instead of a whole one.
It's been years.
Mhm.
If I don't have it, I don't go to sleep at all.
Mhm. What do you take?
Ambien.
Ambien.
That's why I'm afraid of taking too much at one time.
You've never, with your Ambien, like, been found doing something like in
Oh,
other
yeah.
parts of the house or something that you don't know? Like, that's what I'm like afraid of, because
Driving
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
divorced, so
I'm
sometimes I have my
notorious
kids.
eater.
Yeah, he's a snacker. He's a midnight snacker. If he, when
You've
he's,
never like tried to drive your car or anything, have you? This is what terrifies me because I live by myself. I mean, I'm a divorce, so
Not
if I'm either there with my
sitting in the car
kids or else I'm by myself,
Yeah.
no one would know if I like left my house driving my car or something on one of these. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm like afraid.
Yeah, but yeah,
I'm kind of
it's
afraid to do
7-Eleven.
them because I'm like afraid that I would do something like no one would know.
yeah,
Funny.
not anymore, but initially when he was on, he'd do odd things. So, yeah.
But nothing dangerous, so that's good.
Well, we've hit the keys before, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, when he moved to Ardmore and we were still in Seattle, you know, he would call me and say, you know, I'm done being here. I'm gonna come. And I'd be like, okay, you know, are you in the apartment? Because he was by himself.
He was by himself, yeah.
And so, yeah, that was a little scary.
Yeah.
But now that, I mean, they're not as effective as they used to be, so
Yeah.
he doesn't do his odd things.
Well, and Dr. Klaus had recommended melatonin to me. Does anybody else do that?
He started with that.
So I take melatonin. It works. I mean, it's not.
He recommended I take it as well, and it leaves me nauseated,
Oh, it does?
but I don't have a problem sleeping.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he just suggested it'd be a way to relax and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so, in fact, the only drugs he has me on at the moment is Mirapex.
Does that cause sleeping disturbances or hallucinations?
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
Sharon says I wouldn't tell the truth about that anyway.
You see Dr. Klaus also,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So your only medicine prescription that you take is just the Mirapex. Do you think it keeps you up at night? It doesn't? You said you don't have trouble sleeping. Because see, my sleeping was really, really terrible, like the worst it ever was when I was on Mirapex. And it was a little bit bad once I switched off that onto the Nupro patch. Then now I'm not on any of those and I just take Cinemet now. And my sleeping is the best that it's ever been since like September-ish when I
The
got
only
off of
problem
all
I
those
ever
other
had
ones.
was-
But it's still terrible.
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago, I ran out of my medication. I wasn't paying attention to how many was left in the bottle, and my pharmacy didn't have any that was today. So I had to go for 3.5, 4 days without
Oh
anything,
my gosh.
and I had a real problem with restless leg syndrome. But our house has a circular area, and I just walked at night and made it through those 3 days, so.
Walk in the big circle, huh?
The Mirapex does wonders for me.
Huh.
Klaus says I'm in a group 10% or less that Mirapex seems to really help.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's good.
No.
Yeah.
But what I do at night, occasionally I do wake up, but if I take, and I don't know the medical ramifications of this, but if I take 800 milligrams of ibuprofen before I go to sleep, I sleep the whole night through. If I don't take it, every hour and a half to 2 hours I wake up for a short period of time and go back to sleep.
I don't think the ibuprofen will hurt you in any way. I'm just trying to think. I can't think. why,
Well, benefit off it.
I mean, it's
Well,
not,
you'd be paying
it
them
doesn't,
something.
but maybe unless you're waking up from some type of like, muscle aches or stiff
Mm-hmm.
pains, because, it's an anti-inflammatory, so it may be that more than, more than the fact that it is a sleep aid, but yeah.
When I get up, I usually need to use the restroom. But when I take the ibuprofen, then I
You don't have
don't do
to.
that, no.
That, getting up to use the restroom at night, like frequent urination is also another thing that they talk about a lot in here, that people with Parkinson's tend to have to get up to go to the bathroom a lot during the night. Now, I don't know if that, like, I was thinking about that and I was trying to think, well, is that because people with Parkinson's wake up a lot and whenever you're awake, you have the
Like you-
sensation that you need to go to the bathroom more than when you're asleep? Like,
You gotta think you're
okay,
gonna be
like,
wait for an hour, you might as well go to the bathroom.
right, like I'm up, I feel like I don't know, or is it that they need to go to the bathroom and it makes them wake up to go? See, I don't think I wake up needing, like, because I need to go to the bathroom, I wake up and then I'm like, okay, well, so I'm not really sure, it didn't really clarify,
When I
but,
travel, I can drink a gallon of water and never have to stop, but if I drink a soda pop, every 45 miles is about my range.
well, it says right on here that you're not
Irritates your
supposed to,
bladder
you
or
gotta
something.
decrease caffeine and
The
nicotine.
carbonation also irritates your bladder or
Well,
something.
the carbonation, because I always drink like Sprite or something of that nature.
Yeah, it says avoid stimulants such as caffeine and nicotine, drinks and food for 8 hours before bedtime.
8 hours?
That's what it says.
That works for me, because I